everybody, it's me, Anthony Dodge, the model train outside the Märklin Outsider, a Night of the Rhomboid table, and it's that time of year again. We've got the Märklin catalog, so let's stop wasting any time. Let's go straight into it. The new items 2026 has just dropped. This is my first impressions, initial reaction. I didn't even watch the video an hour ago. I was waiting for them to post the new items catalog, so let's go to it. All this stuff. Let's get, and bam, here it is, everybody. The golden age of railroading. We have a American big boy, the class 4000 series, you know, the most famous being 4014, but there were many of them, obviously. All in gold. This is going to cost a couple of thousand at least in HO. The last time they did a gold plated, it was a TEE, I think a VT 11.5 or something like that. That was 2,500. So this isn't quite as big, so it'll probably be cheaper. But I can see this going for a couple of thousand. Yeah, this is when you have way too much money for your hobby. But hey, if you like it, you like it. I don't know. All right, so more pictures of it. All right, a Czech Republic guy here. And again, I'm not very up on it. So it is a class 477 steam locomotive, kind of funky looking here. I've never seen anything like this before. So obviously they have CAD renderings that you can see next to me right here. The colors are kind of cool. So we'll, as it operated in 2021, so kind of almost like the Papagai, the parrot. Yeah, so kind of cool. And will there be cars that go with this? There's something else. Okay, so the MHI exclusive. MHI, if you don't know, Märklin Händlers Initiative, Märklin Dealers Initiative, which is, if you're officially labeled a Märklin dealer, you can sell these. And if you sell Märklin, but you're not a part of their MHI program, you can't sell them. And part of being a part of the MHI program is you sell things at certain price points and you agree to buy so much Märklin stock for your shop, et cetera, et cetera. So what have we got here? And they're releasing it in the classic blue box. So we got a class E10, which is very sharp. I've seen some of these in some of the German museums I've been in. The Bugelfelter pants crease retro version. And some cars to go with it. TEE Rheingold tin plates. Wow. But in this livery instead of the red livery I'm used to. These are kind of sharp. I do like the cars. I think that's kind of a sharp combo. That might be a, if I got nothing to do. Because I kind of like the looks of that as a Rheingold. I like my Rheingolds. Okay, we got an EIT Railcar 1126. Okay. And if you wonder what that green Trix is, hopefully by now, if you're a Märklin fan, you know Trix is their DC version. They're two rail. I better say it that way because too many think DC means analog, which sadly that's part of the nomenclature. But anyhow, yeah, cool rail car. I lean heavily to modern era 5, 6, and of course they're now thinking of designating new stuff as era 7. But very sharp. Very sharp, well made, history of it. I like the detailing they're showing in those pictures, especially the multicolor table and seats. I love it when they do that little extra and separate instead of all one molded color. Okay, we got a class 367 work train. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. And try to fit this in screen a little better. My apologies. There we go. That looks better. So looks like a cool little set to get. And you got a crane with functions. I've got a much older version that isn't a digital crane. So that's cool. Definitely something if you're into it or get it for somebody. So you got the crane set and the class 367 locomotive. A GI box car. Okay, and Talbot hopper car. And then the insider models. You have to belong to the Märklin Insider Club for these. I used to be a member of the Märklin Insider Club, but yeah, I let it lapse, and then it was like, do I want to spend $100 on that? And they've never posted a loco. I was like, yeah, I've got to have that. Gotta have that. Just never had one. Whoops, sorry. But here it is, the Class 06. I like this. I like this a lot. The piping on the, the striping on the boiler, the classic black and red over it. It's a 484 configuration. I guess that's what they call Type T38 coal tender. It looks as it did 1952, so pre-war and post-war. But a Class 06, that's a very sharp. Now, I have said I'm kind of done with steamers for a while. I bought a lot of steamers in the second half of 2025. And for somebody that once said I'm not really into steam, and to have the number of steamers I have now, I guess I can come across as a hypocrite, but it happened. It happened. And car set 4528 to go 42528. Which is there. Those are very sharp. I like those. To go with that steam locomotive, early post-war coaches, Domfile, the Cathedral Arrow. I like those. I could see myself buying that set of cars. I won't put it... I'll see what it cost first. But I do love the interior detail they have, and those look sharp like that. I wonder if they'd have a couple of extra cars to expand it out. All right, so now we're going straight into My World. My World is 3+. This is what I started my grandson with. He goes in phases where there's a few days where he wants to play it, and then he'll go months where he doesn't want to play with them. But if he's in the mood to run trains, he wants to come down and run them on the big layout. Had a chance to buy an ICE3 this week, but I didn't for him. But, so yeah, in fact, I just saw this one. It's funny that I saw an advertisement for this one before it was announced here. But all kinds of cool little sets for the My World. And then Startup is their introductory, aimed at kids, say 8 and up. And all kinds of cool bits with it, including open seating ICE2 car there. And a new, that's a, what is it? The DHG 500. So we'll see what they say. And some new freight cars to go with it. All re-releases, a better way to put it. I've got that little DB Schenker small tanker there. All right, so new entry-level models, as they call it. So a Class 216. I like this, and I have a 216, and I have it. It's an old one. I actually have two 216s that are old ones that I converted to digital from analog. But I really like the looks of that, and that'll go on the maybe. And then here's your standard Silberling coaches from that era to go with it. I do like the little retro painting on the end of the control cab there. Commuter car with control cab. That's kind of cool, but I need to get back to modern era and see what else is out there. All right, another Class 01. So now we're going to get into their general range for the regular, that sounds so bad when you say it, but not the youth movement or the expensive club and special releases. So here we go. So we start with a Class 01 with the piping, and this is funny because when I was in Denmark last June, I had a chance to buy an older version of this with that piping, and I bought the regular version because I was told the piping was only for museum versions. And no, it didn't have to be, and I regret I should say regret because I love the old one I got, but I wish I'd bought the other one. They were at very good prices from a club that was having a clearance sale of older stock they had or stuff that was donated to them. All right, so that's cool. It's an 01 one, so upgrade from the 01s, but very sharp. I like that a lot, but no, that shall not be added to my world. And then they've got all the matching cars to go with it, and you've got an express car set, the Hamburg Altona de Basel, which I did in 2023. We went from Hamburg to Basel. Actually, we went to Freiburg and then from Freiburg to Basel. Not that any of you care about that. So all these car sets to go with it. Very cool, very well executed. Again, I'm trying to do this quickly and just give you my initial reactions. So sometimes it'll be stuttering and less impressed or more impressed. You can pause and stare at it if you want, or go online and get it. All right, a Class 52. So 52 is very popular, very common. It hasn't been that long since they released a 52, so here's another 52. I like the 50s and 52s. I have a 50. I do not have a 52, and I don't plan on adding a 52 anytime soon. For no other reason than, as I said, I bought a lot of steamers in 20. If you go back to when I bought Herb's collection in 2024, and if you don't know, I've got a series of videos. I bought a collection from a gentleman who was terminally ill, and got a ton of steamers that I've converted from digital or from analog to digital. And then I just, a few months ago, I went on a steam buying craze and bought like 5 or 6 steamers in about 6 weeks. I'm still trying to recover from that. Okay, some cool older tank cars, 3-container tankers. All right, those are cool. Cool. BP, the more recent BP logo on it. Says it's Air 3 post-war, but I don't think BP used that logo in the early post-war era. I thought that came later, but I don't know. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. All right, a little Class 80. Cute little, I assume, shunter locomotive. Based on the pictures, it's sharp, it's cute. Again, I've got lots of shunters now, including that little Märklin 39, I forget the model number, 3029 I think it was, an old one that I just converted to digital. And it was cute running in my Steamer Palooza. But again, cute, very well molded. It's got a lot of detail for how small it's going to be. Just not my thing. So more things to read about it. So obviously this is a big deal for them because they're giving it a 2-page spread, as well as the Era 3 coal set to go with it. Now, I was just at a model shop that sells Märklin stuff about 2 hours away from me, and they had a coal wagon set, and I really debated buying it. It was an older one, but very similar to this, pre-weathered and coal, and it was at a really good price, and it was Era 4, and I've got a lot of Era 4 stuff, and I did buy it. All right, these are, wow, slag cars. Okay, to be honest, I think this is the first time I've actually seen them in the catalogs. I do. Now, I've only been in the hobby a few years, but those are kind of cool, funky looking, and funky in a good way. Very different from what I'm used to seeing. I've not seen slag cars, railway slag cars. I have limited experience, but yeah. Okay, here's some hoppers loaded with real iron ore. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Depending on what those cost, those could be cool. Because I'm trying to get more ore cars, and I'm trying to do some modern era and Era 4, because I've got a lot of Era 4 cars that I picked up from Herb's collection, or locomotives, I should say. And an E94, aka the German Crocodile. And they are one of the big things. I've been kicked out of being an official model train, German European model train lover society because I'm not into the crocodiles. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's a crocodile. That's my reaction. That's my first impression. Oh, look, another crocodile. All right, the class 015. Uh, really cool. This is the East German version of it. I don't do East German trains for various reasons, but it's very sharp. It's cool. Very well detailed. I do love that curve and the white stripe going along it. And the Saxon Pride. Now, this was released last year. There's a version of this released with, and I don't know if this is the same one, a Class 19. They released one as a Insiders edition or an MHI edition, and so now this is a general release, so I'm sure there are some differences with this particular paint job versus the one they released last year. But again, this is live reaction, so I don't have access. I don't know this is going to be here where I would pull up, and I don't want to come back and edit in. I'm just going to post my reactions and go. And here's a Class 221. I've got a Class 221, but not in these colors. I wouldn't mind one in these colors. But for me, rather than spend the $350 to $500 it would take to get the new one with all the digital functions, I can get an older version one that's analog for somewhere $80 to $120, and then throw in the 60906 chip. But it's very sharp. I like this a lot. I do plan on eventually getting a 221 in this coloring. So whether I decide to buy the new one here or find an analog version to convert for cheaper remains to be seen. But this is definitely something on the back of my head list. And rail bus. Very sharp. Very sharp. I've got a classic rail bus that, again, picked up from Herb and then added some cars to it. No, from Horst. Not from Herb, from Horst when we were in Bamberg in 2023. Got a rail bus. But very modern. And this is cool. I love the way that looks without the tinted windows to hide all the motors and mechanicals, where you actually have seating here now. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. And the add-on. So very cool. And it looks like it's using the old style coupling. All right, what do we have here? AFM 121 Express train passenger car. Okay. I don't know much about it. I can read the prototype and model. So it has an MFX digital decoder. I wonder if we're going to do more. And you've got, does it come with this figure as well that you paint? Looks like it. Or it comes, the figure is painted. Okay. And it comes with passengers already on it. So that's really cool. I don't know, is there a whole train they're going to release with that? Well, here's another Class 218 in the orange and white livery. So that's kind of cool. Era 4. But that's a cool looking locomotive. I like that. Class 218 in a color I'm not used to seeing 218s. I mean, I've seen this, but it's not the most common, obviously. And to go with the City Bond cars. Now, are they releasing new City Bond? Yes, they are. Okay, this is one that goes to the maybe. If there's nothing else to buy, this gets added into the, I'll look at this and see when is it due out, how much is it, and I'll put that on either Christmas wish list, or if I see it somewhere and buy it. And then there is the coach. So I really like that, a 3-car set with an additional car, and yeah. So the baggage car and then a cab control, which is interesting because the cab control is actually further up in the arrangement. So yeah, I like that a lot. That I won't say it's a certainty, but I'd say there's at least a 33% chance that this winds up in my collection. I like that a lot. And here we go, a Class 260 diesel. This is just one of those classics that I have seen going way back. The coloration, the livery, everything. You just see this all the time in the Märklin world. So very cool. Little diesel shunter. And again, I'm not into diesel shunters, but I've learned to appreciate them a little bit more. Any shunters, really, I'm not into. I want the big locomotives and passenger cars. If you didn't know, that's what I'm into. All right, class 120 diesel. So this would be an old East German because diesel would be 200 in West German and modern German. So very well detailed. The colors are rather striking too for that model. And some more freight cars of the East German Railway. And some flatbeds. So you can really put together a nice little freight hauler to go with that Class 120. And then this is Deutsche Bahn here, a little K446 state car, and looks like it's got some trucks or bogies for trains on it. So that's cool. And then a tank car. This is kind of cool. A little flatbed with a Märklin truck and trailer. Depressed floor flat car, yeah. That's kind of cool. But what is that? The truck can light up? Oh, it's a remote control. Okay. It's a little remote control. Throw that on my car system now that I've got it finally working again. So that makes that much more interesting, doesn't it? Very much more interesting. Little Mercedes truck. Aha! What do we have? We have a classic Class 101. This makes an appearance. A classic Faircares wrote traffic red 101. I have got it. It's not 032 or the ones I have. I've got 4 or 5 Class 101s, which is interesting since the 101s are being phased out. But I've got a red 101, so I don't need another. But this is a classic to me. This is what, to me, is one of the iconic locomotives of the German Railway I model and am into the modern era. This runs the high-speed expresses like the ICs, the old Munich Nuremberg Express, and so forth. And there it is with some ICs. And a new set of IC coaches. Huh. And those are the new ones with the new sculptings. And that looks like ICE connection, the pin connections. Oh, that might be tempting. Oh my, very 4-pole coupling car. Yeah, 4-pole couplings. Yep, this is digital, which means they're going to sell this as a set. Yeah, that's going on. I'm going to see what it's going to come out as a price. I'm scared the way prices have gone, but this is one I might pre-order because this is a real high-end IC, and I would like one of these. I've ridden these many, many times. Okay, another paint of the 249. I like this one. It's yellow. It's the rail maintenance of way group. I like this a lot. I've got 2 of the 249s. I'm planning on buying a couple of the bigger ones. I just bought the Sud Express 2159. So this will go as a maybe. I like this one a lot. I like the bright yellow. And do they make some maintenance of way vehicles to go with it? Well, these go with it, but and I'm sure it's technically maintenance of way. They got some, celebrating 30th anniversary of Märklin Sea Track. Interesting. Yeah, potential there, but I would really like some of the yellow cars. And then here is a 2159 because Märklin last year announced they were making some 2159s and the Euro 9000s. So another paint scheme. The rail systems RP, very sharp, stands out nicely. I like that a lot. I'm looking at getting the Rail Force one and maybe a Deutsche Bahn Cargo one. And I just got the 159 from Sud Express, so I'm leaning towards, Probably only a couple of them. I just don't want that many, but that's very sharp. And then the cars to go with it. A little smudged and weathered. Oh, a new class 66. I want a 66. Now, personally, I want it in Deutsche Bahn, Verkehrsrot, or even the HGK one they released a few years ago. Unfortunately, when they first came out, I had other things I wanted and had a limited budget. I still have a limited budget, but it's a little friendlier these days. But I think those IC cars are going to be number one on the list. Okay, now they already announced this in the winter releases catalog, this class 181 Gopingen. So I've already kind of reacted to it. It's not a new reaction. It's cool. I actually have a 181-2 modern version. So this is kind of cool in the older paint scheme, even though this is technically a new museum piece. You can see the picture here. And Gopingen, of course, is the city where Märklin and their headquarters are, and a factory. These tankers I could do. I am trying to expand my modern tankers. These are Era 6, so I could definitely do those. Wow, I like that low-sided car there with ballast load insert. These are little things I might look at picking up to add to my cargo freight fleet. I like both of these. And then there's a 220 in the yellow livery, Era 6. Wow. I like the 249 better than this, but that's sharp too. That's a cool looking loco. And then the Leonhard Weiss construction train. So this is the whole set. They released some Leonhard Weiss stuff last year and the year before. But it says the loco and cars joined. So that's a total set. I would like those cars with that yellow 249. But there's a live picture of that loco. Okay, a class AE35 electric. Again, Era 6. They call it Era 6 because it's as it looks now at a museum. So another museum piece is Swiss, but I assume this would have been anywhere from the 30s to the 50s. So lots of detailing on it. Again, a special model they're releasing. And some cars to go with it. Rather sharp cars, not my era. I do not own a Swiss train, but if I got Swiss, I'm going to get something modern. But those are sharp looking. First class and second class. And then some pocket cars with semi-trailers on them. Depressed floor flat car. They're releasing a few of those, just different angles. So, yeah, all kinds of interesting freight stuff to add to my freight collection. It's just pick and choose. But, yeah, those are sharp. And speaking of freight and Swiss, bingo. 460, the standard. Well, I said freight, but this is, yeah, obviously a passenger logo. And new cars to go with it. Yep. APM passenger cars. I have not ridden a Swiss train, even when we were in Switzerland both times. Joyce and I, we rode German trains over to the Rhine Falls and to Basel. So I have yet to ride a Swiss train, but standard sharp Swiss cars. And here is another job for Austria, obviously a big 2159 or the 159s, just depending on where you're from. These big Stadler beast. I like them. I like them a lot. That's why I bought that Sud Express one, which is just gorgeous. And one of my favorite locos already, freight locos. And some ore cars or dump cars with hinged roofs. Cool. Era 6. And a new TGV. Oh, I want a TGV, and they're just so expensive anymore. This is a cool one. Some other company just made it with this livery. And that's really sharp. Unfortunately, I don't know. TGV, the IC, there's no way I could do both this year. That's really sharp. That's another gorgeous TGV. I like that a lot. I'd still like to get a Thalys. And all the intermediate car sets to go with it. Whew. That's a gorgeous TGV. And what's this one? A Class CC 6500 for French Railways. Diesel electric. All right. That's a big beast. Era 3, so post-war era. Post-World War II era. That's actually... I'm not big into older French locomotives. They always seem like old coffee tables my mom had in the 60s. But, yeah, that's kind of cool looking. That's one if I saw it on somebody else's layout, I'd say, hey, that's really cool. Okay, another Dutch Class 1200. And again, the same thing. These are classics to people who love the Dutch model railways. And they look a little bit like a British Class 37, which are classics there. It's just, yeah, it's a sharp livery. Very cool. Class 1200 series. If you love them, you got to like this one, I'm sure. And some freight to go with it. State car set with containers. Cool. And now I like these here, the sliding tarp cars. I would like a few. MHI. Again, I'm trying to now create separate, like a lot of tarpaulin cars. I've got 3 from Deutsche Bahn, and mixing them in with some others would be really cool. So I like that. And from Luxembourg, the 1600 Noab, which looks like an F7 backed into an F7, something like that. Again, you like him? It's cool. Luxembourg, very cool. It's not my thing. And then Belgium, oh my. And if my friend Christopher is watching, close your eyes, dude. Close your eyes. Class 1 steam locomotive from Belgium. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. I wouldn't go out and buy it, but if somebody gave it to me, I would happily run it. No, I'm not asking somebody to get it from me. I'm just saying that's gorgeous. And there's no way around it. I'm sure they got more details here. Yep. I like that a lot. I love the green on it. I love the black and red. That's just a sharp loco. If anybody's into that era and steam, you got to love this. That's a gorgeous loco. That is gorgeous. And modern. And I need this. It's Belgium. Actually, I need Joyce and I rode joint Belgian-Luxembourg trains when we went to Aachen and some other areas. We were staying in Koblenz, but we went up past Cologne and into that region, and we rode some Belgian and Luxembourg trains because we were going to one station then to another and coming back, and it's just who you caught going one way or the other. So it was both Belgian and Luxembourg trains. I just picked up a couple of Luxembourg coaches. Yeah, I like that. It's a Class 17. But that's sharp, too. I like that a lot. And some Belgian double-deckers to go with it. Uh-oh. That's a maybe. Too many other good things came out. And Danish! An MZ. Very cool. Very cool. And a British Petroleum tank car to go with it. Really, that's Era 3. I guess it is, but I used to. And, hey, they've done 7 liveries for the ES44. Let's make it 8. And here you go, Southern Railway. You've got the mold, just change the liveries. Just change the paint scheme. All right, so some more cars to go with the AC/DC train they released. I love AC/DC. I'm not buying the train. Bad Staatsbauerei, a refrigerator car, catalog car. This is a series they've been doing with covers of old Märklin catalogs each year, so they're up to 1937. Smiley face car. Oh, the Rail Zeppelin. And so this is Märklin Z scale now, so I'll just zip through the Z scale real fast. So first thing you got is a Class 01 and cars. So they did it in HO. They did it in Z. The Blue Gentian. A Class 65 in Z. That is amazingly detailed. When you if you don't know how small Z is, check it out. Now T's even smaller, I know, but Z, and Märklin invented Z, and yeah, look at the detail on that for a Z steamer. That's impressive. And the Zeppelin, the rail Zeppelin, which they've released a couple of times in the last 10 years or so for HO, so now in Z. But I like that coloring better than the one they did in HO. And a little, that's cool too, the Grand Ducal Baden State Railway Kittel, CIDT. That's cool. That's cool. It's an era 1, so obviously earliest era, and that's pretty cool. And for the detail in Z scale there is just mind-blowing. That's fantastic. Okay, and then a Class 52 in Z with a lot of those same ore cars we saw in HO, in Z as well. And a little rail car, and again in Z. That's very detailed for Z. That's impressive. The Z scale, you know what modern tech is letting you do. That's really sharp. And so more Z scale. You got a V80, you got an E41, and a baggage car, and the Smiley car as well. So now, wonderful views to Class 491 powered. All Z-scale. Some really cool Z-scale stuff here. I'm going to go fast. I'm already well over budget here. A Luxon train. Just some great stuff in Z. A DH 500 again. I've got so many older versions of this now from Herb's collection. And now we're into Märklin 1 scale. Wait, were those 1 scales I was just going too fast through? Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is a 1 scale. And then some DH 500s in different liveries. And the same State Brewery in 1 scale to go along. And MHI exclusive crane, interesting. Cable excavator, I should say. I said crane, cable excavator. So this is part of a series they've been doing. And then some gauge 0. That's interesting. They're doing O gauge or 0 gauge. Releasing it. Interesting. A crocodile. So very sharp. Very sharp. Lots of detail. If you love your Crocs, that's got to be sort of a classic beauty there. And a Z gauge museum car and the HO gauge museum car. I kind of like that. And you got the little kit to go with it. That's kind of cool. And a 1 gauge museum car. So it's the same car, just different sizes. Märklin Startup Annual car. That's kind of cool. And the Insider cars for 2026. So you got the Z gauge car set and the HO Insider Annual car. All right. So that's it. All right. So, yeah, I hope you didn't mind that tour through the catalog. A lot to see, reactions and so on. Live reactions. I'll cut some babble out, but I like to do this and set it straight in. So, yeah, some things to think about. That IC set is going to be, that's going to be the #1. And if not, I'm sure that TGV is going to be out of what I want to spend. I'm sure those IC cars, but the IC cars with the pin couplers, that's really, really, of all the things there. And then the yellow 249, there's Temptations there. You heard me mention some Temptations, but the ones I'm coming out of this catalog that I'm looking at, the TGV and the IC coaches, those were looking really good. So I hope you enjoyed that view. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Until next time, I'm going to say Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains. Take care, everybody.